Why do such elderly people run Nepal? Older people are making rules for young people. Is it right? Ramchandra Paudel is 78 years old. The ex-president of Nepal, Bidya Devi Bhandari, is 61 years old. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Devraj Humire, is 66 years old. Sher Bahadur Deoba, ex-Prime Minister of Nepal for over 5 terms, is 77 years old. KP Sharma Oli, the Prime Minister before Deoba, was 66 years old when he left office. And the Prime Minister before him was 75 years old. Do you see a pattern here? We are hence united in dotage. Old age runs deep in Nepal's mainstream politics. As a matter of fact, more than 90% of the politicians in the past 20 years have been older than 60 years old. The age of world leaders has been a topic of discussion for many years, with many observers noting that the majority of leaders tend to be older, while the population they serve is often significantly younger. In this report, we will explore the reasons behind this trend. When our leaders were born, these were the events that occurred in the years that followed. UNESCO was created and held its first session. The League of Nations held its final meeting in the same year. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or better known as NATO, was established. The Communist People's Republic of China is proclaimed under Mao. George Orwell's 1984 is published. So why do old men like to keep running our country where the majority of the population is under 49 years old? In a country with 32 million inhabitants, 65% of the population are aged between 15 to 64 years old. And in the contrary, only 6.1% of the population are aged 65 years and above. So we circle back to the same question. Why is this senescence 6% ruling, making laws, and governing the rest of the 94% of the population? These older people are just too old for politics. They have been tried, tested, and failed. They lack the vision, the thought process, and modernization to drive the development initiatives and shape the future of Nepal. Their common defense, when asked why these very politicians are still actively involved in politics, they simply cite for the development and prosperity of the country, or that they have the experience and knowledge to do so. But are they actually in it for the betterment of the nation? Or are they in it for the power, for the money, or for the fame? Sadly, most of them get elected from the popular votes. Now, does this mean our voters prefer older candidates to younger ones? Let's take a look at our voters' age in the last election from 2017. More than half of the registered voters for the then upcoming federal and provincial elections are in the 18 to 40 age group. According to the Election Commission, there are a total of 8.7 million voters aged between 18 to 40 years old, which is 52% of total registered voters. Now, within that group, the largest number of the voters are in the 25 to 40 age group. There were a total of 15.4 million eligible voters for the upcoming elections that year, and around 1.35 million voters were added right after the local elections. So this number significantly dropped in 2023 election, despite a list of young candidates that sprung up. This is possibly because of the rise in number of youths leaving the nation for a better future in a better country. As many as 28 leaders from various political parties have been contesting in the elections since 1991. Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deoba, CPN UML Chair KP Sharma Oli, NCP Chair Madhav Kumar Nepal and Janlat Khanal, Loktantrik Samajwadi Chair Mahanta Thakur have continuously fought the elections since the restoration of democracy in 1990. Interestingly, many of these leaders were elected to the parliament when they were quite young. UML Chair KP Sharma Oli was 38 when he was elected from Japa. Mao's leader Krishna Bahadur Mahara was just 32 when he became a member of parliament for the first time. Bijay Kumar Gatchadar was 37. Bijay Subba was 33. Rajendra Pandey was 35. Lal Babu Pandit was 32. And Hridayesh Tripathi was 31 when they were first elected as the MP. But they do not seem to be in the mood to quit politics anytime soon. Almost 16.7 million people were born after 1990. More than half of the population of the country are under 32 years And these very politicians still ramble on to fight for power instead of giving youths a chance to make rules and govern. Generally, people think that the voters prefer a leader of their age. But this presumption does not fit in our context. Nepal's total youth population is nearly 40%. This age group has, however, not been able to claim leadership because of our dear elder leaders that do not want to transfer leadership to the youth. Mr. Thira Busal, a senior journalist who has followed parliamentary politics closely and who is the editor of a recently published book titled Parliamentary Committee Practices, From the First Parliament to Federal Parliament, sees it normally. We hardly have any precedent of senior leaders voluntarily retiring from active politics. Most of them, even those who held posts of party chiefs, prime ministers, or those who held key executive positions in their respective party or the government, have clung on to the power until their last, he explained. What does the iron law of oligarchy do? It does not allow the entry of new faces in the top posts. The old faces use oligarchy to perpetuate politics, to threat, coercion, and control in the parties. So old leaders say to the new ones, you are not old enough to become ministers or rule the country. They discourage the new people, cited Mr. Thira Busal. One of the main reasons for this situation is that power and resources are concentrated in the hands of the old leaders, and with power and resources comes a lot of money, and they want to keep it that way. Second reason is that they see their relevance in politics, and only in politics. For them, this is their life and livelihood. Third is that they do not want to retire because they know power is concentrated in politics, and it is the most lucrative. Some leaders admit this is the case. CPN-UMN leader Binda Pandey raised the issue of becoming a candidate for the lifetime of some leaders, stating, "We need to formulate a policy barring leaders to contest after a certain age and time," she demanded. Could the reason also be that the state agencies have failed to make them accountable for wrongdoings? The system has been held hostage by a handful of people, and it has become a safe haven for them. Why do countries like Finland and Canada have such young leaders, and yet they continue having one of the strongest economy? Is there a correlation between country leaders and economy of the country? Is that why Nepal was ranked as the country with one of the lowest IQ? Now, is there a solution for this? So what do you think? Should there be a term limit? Should there be an age limit? Should there be a minimum education bar? Should they have any criminal history? There should be at least one criteria, either based on tenure or age bar. What will the consequences of the same old faces remaining in power for years and decades be? Change of leadership doesn't mean only change of faces. New leaders come with new ideas needed to drive the country. And the lack of new leaders in the party and power is a complete letdown for the young and aspiring leaders. Current scenarios and system in our politics doesn't attract promising people. And this is when politics fails people. Does having old leaders benefit or harm the country? Are we ready for youths in politics? What should the cutoff age be for politicians? Share us your thoughts below. Like, share, and subscribe. Vincent out.